MOTH is where quantum meets story, sound and soul. We are the world's first Q2C company, quantum to consumer. Until now, quantum has lived in the lab, in finance or in pharma. Today, it enters everyday life. At MOTH, we're putting quantum technology into the hands of artists, of creatives and the curious to enable them to co-create and do things that have never been possible. With Archaeo, creators do not need a PhD to harness the power of quantum. They need an idea. We're making quantum intuitive, expressive, and useful.
So right now, quantum computers are very difficult to use. It's not as simple as opening up a browser, typing in an application, and off you go. These quantum systems need to be programmed with specific types of software called circuits, and these particular circuits need to run in very specific ways on these different hardware platforms.
Quantum reservoir computing is quite different from classical machine learning in that you only need to train a simple linear transformation, and the consequence of this is it doesn't need big data. You don't need to take huge amounts of art from all around the world in order to create new art, but you can just train on an artist's own data set, for example, so that they can just produce things based on what they've already made and try and find something new and inspirational based on that.
What we see with most AI music tools and AI creative media tools right now are products where a large corpus of data, usually stolen artist data, has been used to train a model, and the user experience is that you prompt that model to then generate something new. Now, that is something that's fundamentally uninteresting from a creative or cultural perspective. Our decisions to work with an artist, to work with lightweight data sets, and to have a constant interaction between artist and technology company is also coming from a perspective of what creates good cultural output, what creates interesting and engaging music and musical experiences.
Hi, I'm Ilana. I'm an electronic artist, producer and vocalist and choir leader. First started working with MOTH a couple of years back. We made a piece of music together, worked on a project called NGN2, and we used a tool called Archaeo, which is a quantum synthesizer. It's been a really central part of my workflow ever since, and the relationship's just grown really symbiotically. I was really excited when MOTH reached out again about this new project. I've always wanted to work with generative quantum tools, so it's just incredible that they now exist. And we went on this incredible journey together to create RECURSE. I'd say that I didn't know what the process was going to be when we began, and I don't think any of us knew. I created a piece of music in the way that I normally would, and then those patterns were used by MOTH to train this generative system, this model.
From there, we returned the tracks to the artists as tools that they could use to build the musical work. Once a draft of the work was completed, we trained an additional AI model on the musical structure of the work and ran that on a quantum computer.
I got given that model back and could play out what it generated and record that, and then layer that up with slightly different versions of itself. From that, it kind of created this kind of like a material, a form, a structure. It had kind of a feeling to it. And then from that, I sort of sculpted into it. By its nature, there is this kind of idea of iteration and recursion. So what I mean by that is repetition, but not quite. So something repeats, but it repeats and sort of evolves a little bit or changes a little bit with each step. This most recent chapter has been probably the most satisfying in my life so far, because it's been an ambition of mine right from the beginning to be able to use quantum more directly in my making of things.
RECURSE Infinite Mix is more than just simply a new track. It's a new format, dynamic, evolving and interactive. It means that we finally have a creative technology that truly respects ownership, that enhances rather than erases the human voice. We're not building tools for exclusivity, we're building a new relationship between people and possibility.